Here's another question I received a couple days ago. The owner of a property wanted a little more information on how the sidewalks can actually create problems for the wood siding. And I believe they had masonite on their building. What we're looking at here is hardy board siding. And you can see right here, here's the bottom of the siding. Here's the weep screed at the same level as the bottom of the siding. The weep screed, of course, is going to represent the bottom of the stucco. And as you can see, there is plenty of room. I would imagine there's at least 4, if not 6 inches between the bottom of the siding, the bottom of the stucco, and the top of the concrete sidewalk. There is also about 6 inches between the bottom of the siding and the dirt around the planter around the building. Now, this is nice. This is what I like to see, and this is what actually most building codes require, is about 6 inches between the dirt or the soil and the bottom of the weep screed or the bottom of the siding. However, I would like to point out that there are cases where you're allowed to be 2 inches if you're pouring concrete. So keep that in mind. You'd have to check with your local building department for more information, but we did that for years. 2 inches was the minimum. If we had to pour any type of a sidewalk or a patio, we made sure that we had 2 inches, and that was usually approved by most building codes. So again, 2 inches in most cases is going to be the minimum distance between the bottom of stucco, the top of or where the weep screed is, or the bottom of siding. Now I went ahead and drew something to see if I could provide you with a little more information on this, make sense out of it. Here's a building with a single piece of siding and a strip of wood at the bottom that would represent the piece of siding. As we put siding on, we already have an angle. So if we're using 1/2 inch thick siding, we want to have a 1/2 inch starter strip underneath the first row of siding. And I'm actually going to expand on this later on in the video with a couple of pictures. Now, as you can see, the bottom of the siding is even with the bottom of the trim, and that's not good. We want to have it at least a minimum of a 1/2 inch sticking down below the trim, and this is so that water will roll off of the siding. Water will roll off of the outside exterior section of the siding and work its way down and safely off. If we have the siding even with the building foundation, which is actually what this would be, then we could actually have water roll right back into the building. And I've seen this happen plenty of times. So you're going to need to have a lip there, something to allow water to drain off safely. Now let's go ahead and put a sidewalk in here, and of course keep this sidewalk about 2 inches below the siding. And you can see here where it is not going to be a problem. I should say in most cases, if this concrete, if the sidewalk ever had more than 3 inches of water sitting on top of it, you would obviously have a problem. So site drainage would be a key here. We just can't pour a sidewalk around the building and have the other part of the landscape or the property sloping towards the building, creating other problems. So there's a little more to it than just what I'm talking about or covering in this video, but this is designed to make some sense out of the problems that you're going to have if you pour your sidewalks into your siding and not below them. Next, I went ahead and moved the sidewalk up, and you can see that sidewalks even with the bottom lip of the siding, so it'd still be a little bit lower than the building foundation, but obviously this would create problems for any water that was draining off of the building paper behind the siding. You could see where it could actually get trapped if the sidewalk was touching the bottom of the lip. And this is actually where the water damage will start to happen. The water gets trapped behind the siding and it can't go anywhere. Pretty soon, what's it going to do? It's going to start rotting the siding, and it's going to start rotting the inside of the building, the framing. Now, this problem only gets worse if we have a sidewalk that's actually poured into the siding, and something maybe an inch above the bottom lip of the siding. Something like this will definitely trap any water that gets stuck behind the siding. And you're probably thinking, hey, wait a minute, how could any water get behind the siding? It's all going to roll off the front of the siding, and that actually might be the case. And you might not be getting any water trapped behind the paper, but you still could end up with the same problem. If you have siding that is like masonite or wood siding, obviously this wouldn't apply to the cement fiberboard, but it would, because cement fiberboard isn't going to suffer very, very often from moisture damage, or it's definitely not going to rot as fast as it would if it was cellulose like wood or masonite. Now, when you bring the concrete above the siding, you are actually, and the ground, let's just say, is moist. The concrete slab will actually pull moisture out of the ground and then surround the siding. It will provide the bottom edge that is buried in the concrete siding. It will provide a steady supply of moisture and eventually rot the wood. And again, this is one of the most common problems with this situation. Anytime we have a patio or a sidewalk that is above the bottom lip of the siding. Next, let's take a look at a couple of pictures. There is the strip of siding that has been installed onto this would be the lower base plate of the framing wall. So I cut 1.5 inch strip, and I basically nailed it on top of the base plate of the wall here, the framing base plate. And so the bottom of this strip would actually represent the top of the footing, the garage footing here, or the top of the building foundation. So you can see here where the paper is actually extended past about 1 inch. And that's because the siding is also going to extend about 1 inch below the bottom of this strip, giving us 1 inch below the foundation. So any water that's going to roll off of this, off the bottom board on the siding, is just going to roll off. It's just probably not ever going to roll up into the building. So I hope that makes sense to you. And this, of course, you can refer back to the other pictures in the illustrations that I made also in the video. Don't forget, you can watch these videos as many times as you want to if you don't understand what's going on, and you can always leave comments in the comment area, any questions, and I will answer them as soon as possible. The last picture I have here for you in this video is the siding. You can actually see, this will give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. If we were to pour some concrete, if we had a sidewalk we needed to pour for whatever reason, or a patio, and we were going to encroach on this area in the bottom, you could actually see where it would be blocking any moisture from leaving the building, whether it's in front of the siding or behind it. So I hope this makes sense. If it does, go ahead and hit the old thumbs up button. And remember, your positive comments are always appreciated. Negative ones, hey, let's send those to somebody else's YouTube channel.